Hello, I'm Swami Chaitanya.
I'm Nikki Listretto. And Swami, wait, tell me. So, in what ways is cannabis medically appropriate for you?
Medically appropriate for you?
In what ways
Oh,
do you
well.
use it medically?
Well,
We have our family doctor who gives us our recommendation every
Right.
year. We've gone to him for about
well,
40
for me,
years.
it's helped tremendously with arthritis.
Yeah.
Arthritis runs in my family, and particularly on my mother's side of the family. But I, notice my wrists and fingers and so on. Hi, Tipu. What? And so it's kind of hasn't cured it, but it's kind of stabilized and kept it so it really hasn't gotten worse, and I'm really still able to work even though I don't have the same hand strength.
Yeah.
So I know personally from my own experience that it's really tremendous at keeping arthritis sort of under control, because I've talked to my doctor and he says there's no other medicine that actually works for arthritis, right? They don't know what to do. And so begin to think about, there are some people in the movement who are saying that cannabis in fact is the original medicine, right? It has so many uses for so many different things. The Chinese have an ancient character for hemp, which is for their medicinal use. Mm-hmm. And there's a particular kind of medicine they use in India called Ayurvedic medicine, right? Yeah. And in Ayurveda, which is all in Sanskrit, and this is a medicine that's 5,000 or 6,000 years old, it's written in Sanskrit. People are translating those Sanskrit things, and now it's turning out that they've been using cannabis in their medicinal formulas for 4,000 or 5,000 years at least. And so it turns out also that cannabis, with a combination of terpenes and cannabinoids and THC and so on, has many, many uses. One of the most dramatic is in epilepsy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, well, yeah.
We've seen cases on
Definitely,
film
we have.
where this person will have the epileptic thing, and one hit on a bowl of cannabis, and his symptoms are gone. It doesn't cure of the disease, but it makes the symptoms once a day or once a week instead of every couple hours.
Yeah.
And so with young kids, they give them cannabis in a preparation with glycerin. As a tincture, a glycerin, what do they call it? A menstruum. With glycerin, and then it helps, it's tremendously indicated for epilepsy and also for post-traumatic shock syndrome and for concussions, things of this nature. In fact, there's one of the security people at the Harborside Health Clinic where we bring our cannabis for distribution, that he says he can't get to sleep unless he actually smokes a joint of our cannabis, and because he has shell shock dreams, traumatic stress dreams from when he was in the war in Iraq, and things that he just can't get out of his mind. He says he does, he smokes a joint and he then can rest. And so there's so many uses we're discovering. It's, I think, melanoma, the skin cancer, you put Simpson oil on.
Yeah, we know this, yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds of uses, and curiously, this is good stuff. Curiously, what happens is we have interior cannabinoids, and they are in the stomach and they're in the head area. And these are actually nerve endings, and these nerve endings are receptor cells. And we do have some nerve endings that are receptive to opiates. We have other nerve endings and so on. We have all these nerve endings receptive to cannabis molecules. So the medical profession, the doctors started to look at this and said, well, this is more than just a coincidence, right? There's some kind of purpose here in a way that somehow the body and the cannabis plant have this symbiotic relationship developed over thousands of years, literally, where we cultivate the best, and it gives us all kinds of medicinal use. And one of those greatest uses is, first of all, stress relief, which is a major cause of many, many diseases, but also in terms of, what do they call it, palliative care. Mm-hmm. For people with AIDS or with cancer. It stimulates your appetite.
Isn't he amazing? He must have had quite a cup of coffee before this. I asked one question, and he can go off
there's
like
a new
that.
name for this.
I mean, this is
called mansplaining. There's a new name for this, right? You ask a simple question, and boom, the guy has to give you a 5-minute answer.
It's actually really handy if you're on a long drive, and
She'll
like,
fall asleep.
You don't want him to fall asleep, so you just say something like, "Hey, Swami, so what was it like in 1542 in Belgium?" And he'll just tell you about whoever was in power and every war that was going on and the kings and the queens.
Well,
And
Belgium
half
didn't
an hour
really
later,
exist
you're
at
in
that time.
Willits, you know, you're
Belgium
like down the
didn't really
road,
exist.
right?
It was divided
You know,
between the
it's
Count,
great.
the Duke of Burgundy, and so on. So
See? So, yeah.
1540 was it? Oh, okay.
42.
All right. So where were we? We were back with medicine, the original medicine. So the CBDs and the so the ends of these nerve endings, they bond with the coming in from the outside, and that's what gives you relief. So I guess this stuff works. We have to say this is kind of laughing, silly.
So, you know, you might try to be
Yeah.
serious, but it might not work.
Laughing is healing.
Laughter's the best medicine.
Absolutely.
And that's the way cannabis is stress release, and that is a medicinal purpose, as is palliative care of stimulating the appetite and so on. All of those are valid medicinal uses. And cannabis has side effects which are actually delightful compared to most of them. You get hungry, you want to listen to music, and so on. So,
Okay, well, that's good. Thank you for answering my questions.
all right, but actually I have an... I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, I have another half hour. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
no.
gonna tell you now.
Okay.
Wait a
But this could be
Sorry.
another episode. But nonetheless, since you asked, I have an idea. Many of you have seen the statistics about how many people die from alcohol abuse or tobacco abuse or automobile accidents or drug abuse, or even more from prescription drug, stuff and so on. Like 140,000 from alcohol, 130 from tobacco. These are solid statistics. And then at the bottom of the list, it always says certified deaths from cannabis overuse, 0. So, wow, okay. So all these other things are actually approved for use. You can buy alcohol at a gas station and go and drive, right? Tobacco kills. So does alcohol. So do prescription drugs. Cannabis doesn't kill. That's why it must be illegal. So, at any rate, the next thing I want to ask is even another different kind of question, which is to say, because cannabis has been illegal, because it's been impossible to get for so many people, how many people have gone blind because they were prohibited and prevented from getting cannabis to treat their glaucoma? We don't know, but many people went blind. How many people with epileptic seizures suffered them 5 and 10 times a day because they were prohibited, they were outlaws, they couldn't get cannabis? How many people with concussions in the NFL, they tried to approve cannabis as a treatment for concussions and they got stepped on. It's the best treatment for concussion and it's prohibited. So I want to say on the government's shoulders, how many people have died and suffered because the government has refused to let them have cannabis?
Wow.
Oh, excuse me.
Amen.
I'm sorry.
I guess you can get serious when smoking this.
Yeah, right. So anyway, so that is what I have to say about the medicinal uses today.
Wow, that'll do.
And thank you very much for joining us, and be wise and be safe in your use of cannabis.
See ya.